It might have been for, you got like a half term. Yeah, half term.
Call the Gurnee Village Board meeting, regular meeting of September 20th, 2021 to order. Roll call, please.
Balmas.
Present.
Thorstenson.
Here.
Woodside. Ross.
Here.
Garner.
Here.
O'Brien.
Present.
5 present, 1 absent.
Trustee Woodside indicated he would not be here tonight. And if you'd all stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
The first item on the agenda is approval of a consent agenda as presented. Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
Motion by Trustee Garner, second by Trustee O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Balmas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
5 aye.
Motion carries. Pat?
Item number 1, approval of the minutes from the September 13th, 2021 meeting. Item number 2, approval of ordinance 2021-61, approving a 3-year service agreement with Blackboard, Inc. related to the emergency mass notification system. Item number 3, approval of resolution 2021-11, establishing certain property of the Village of Gurnee to be surplus, Fire Department Unit 1398. Item number 4, approval of payroll for period ending September 10th, 2021, in the amount of $861,687.08. Item number 5, approval of bills for period ending September 20th, 2021, in the amount of $1,043,109.22.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion by Trustee Garner, second by Trustee Russ. Okay. Roll call, please.
Balmas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
5 aye.
Motion carries. Next item is petitions and communications. This is approval of proclamation designated in October 2021 as Crime Prevention Month in the Village of Gurnee. Proclamation is with reference to the Village of Gurnee finds that it's very important that we keep our neighborhoods safe, workplaces safe, and the community safe. That's important to us, certainly through our police department and all that they do. So therefore, I, Thomas Hood, Mayor of the Village of Gurnee, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as Crime Prevention Month throughout the village and urge all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, and businesses to invest in the power of prevention and work together to make the Village of Gurnee a safer, stronger, more caring community. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee O'Brien, second by Trustee Thorstenson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Also, we have the Committee of the Whole,
Yeah.
which we do not have anything for, which is next week. So is there a motion
So
to?
moved.
Motion by Trustee Balmas, second by Trustee Thorstenson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So we will not have a Committee of the Whole next week. So there are reports, presentation by Finance Director Brian Gosnell, fiscal year 2021-2022, first quarter financial performance. Brian?
All right, thank you, Mayor. This is the first quarter review, so we'll be looking May 1 through July 31st, first 3 months of the year. Looking at cash and investments, total $38.3 million. That excludes pension funds and the joint ETSB. 37% of all cash is in checking accounts, 39% in money market, and 24% in our investment accounts. 65% of that is in the general fund, 13% water and sewer, and 13% in the capital improvement fund. I just would remind you that that balance in the capital improvement fund includes $2 million from the Warren-Waukegan Fire Protection District for the Fire Station 3. Looking at the general fund here, I switched up the formatting just a little bit. So this graphic shows the general fund. Top is revenues, bottom is expenditures by category. The red and green arrows just indicate where it's at in relation to 25% of the budget being complete first quarter. Total revenues $11.8 million. Total expenditures $8.9 million. That leaves us a surplus at the end of the first quarter of about $2.9 million. Some notable variances here. It's super early, so a lot of it is just timing. The SAFER grant timing is what is causing the intergovernmental category and revenues there to be down. Obviously, we'll get more of that grant later in the year as we apply for it and it comes in. Investment gains and losses, rates have still just been kind of sticky. Looks like we'll end up probably moving a little bit later in the year, so we'll see that. And then budgeted use of reserves in that last category there, other sources, we'll see that all year. That is where we budgeted for the 922,000 use of reserves. Obviously, we won't make an entry for that, so that'll be a negative variance throughout the year. And then on the expenditure side, the only category that was down was other contractual services, and that's because of the timing of the liability and workers' comp insurance payment. So again, just a lot of timing issues at this point in the year. During COVID, we looked at Big Four a lot. I thought that was appropriate to continue with that. So rather than go to the major revenues and talk about some of the other small ones that aren't impacted by COVID, I wanted to continue to focus on these four. They make up 53% of the general fund. If you look at the graphic on the top there, it's just a 5-year history of receipts by month. If you look kind of the top right of the graphic, you'll see 3 green arrows stacked on top of each other. That just means that month in the current year was better than the same month in the previous year. Obviously, the previous year was impacted by COVID, so you would expect to see that there. Bottom of that graphic, we have 6 what I'll call indicators, variance really. The first one on the top left is year-to-date versus last year. Here's where we see an 80% increase. Again, last year was impacted by COVID. If you go a little bit to the right, you'll see year-to-date versus 2 years ago. That's a little more relevant. That's our last normal year. Big Four was up about 10% versus fiscal year 2020. And then we did it versus a 5-year average. Again, you have some skewing in there because of the COVID, up 42%. The bottom row there is indicators versus budget. So the top line is indicators versus actual in prior years. Bottom is indicators versus budget. The one on the bottom left there is going to be the most relevant. That's versus the seasonally adjusted budget, so we take seasonality out of it. The difference there is just over 20%. If you look at it just versus 25% of the budget, we're up 14%. And then versus the total budget, we're at 28.5% of budget, 25% of the way through the year. So we're ahead of where we should be. Same graphic here, just going into detail with home rule sales tax and sales tax. Again, the most relevant indicators here are where are we at versus a normal year. We're up 14%. And where are we at versus the seasonally adjusted budget? We're up 18%. So sales tax, as we've discussed and why we felt comfortable making some of those budget adjustments, are doing well versus all the metrics. Amusement tax, same graphic. Again, I won't hit each one of them. Annual budget here, $2.9 million. Year-to-date, $1.1 collected. We're up 9% versus a normal year 2 years ago, and 39% versus seasonally adjusted budget. So again, some real strength in amusement tax. Food and beverage tax, annual budget of $1.8 million. Year-to-date collected $588,000, up 7% versus a normal year and 18% versus the seasonally adjusted budget. Again, seeing strength here. Hotel tax, it's a little bit of a different story. Annual budget of $1.5 million, collected $457,000 to date. We're down 14% versus a normal year. Some of that is collections. We have a couple that need to catch up. Some of them need to pay, but we're seeing some relative flat versus normal years in everything but Great Wolf. So that's kind of where we see those numbers at. But up 10% versus the adjusted budget. Obviously, we assumed that would happen this year, and that would be one of the revenue streams we didn't anticipate to bounce back quite as well as the others, so we budgeted for that. So we're still up 10% versus adjusted budget. Moving into water and sewer fund. Again, this is the same graphic we had with the general fund. Revenues at the top, expenditures at the bottom. Revenues of $2.2 million, expenditures of $1.8 through the first quarter. Leaves us with a surplus of $463,000. Just some notable variances here where there are some seasonality in charges, water and sewer charges. For May, June, and July, we're really 2 months before that. So it would be March, April, and May usage. So we won't quite see that big bump from the summer coming just yet in the first quarter. Again, we see the investment gains and losses here, the timing of the liability and work comp insurance, and then that yellow arrow you see at the bottom there is the timing of the IEPA loan, just what's due with that first payment. Something I track that is in the big printed report that I don't typically share here, but I thought it was relevant based on not only what we were talking about on the last slide, but also the decision to not increase water rates again coming up. So here is that 2-month delay I was talking about. So this shows us gallons purchased from Jawa. So this is a leading indicator of the revenues that'll come on that 2-month delay. We're up 41.3% versus 2021. Obviously, that's COVID impact, but it's up 16.4% versus 2020. So strength in usage, which again will translate into revenue as that catches up. And then precipitation number, obviously track that too, down 62% from fiscal year 21 and 72% from fiscal year 20. That's where we're going to see second quarter those charges for service really increase. So, questions on the financial slides? Otherwise, I want to just hit one more thing on the agenda quick while I'm sitting here.
Anybody have questions? Trustee Thorstensen?
Thank you for doing the comparison to 2 years ago. That's really helpful for me, I'm sure for all of us. Do you have any assumptions in terms of how we are increased by 10% for the Big Four over 2 years ago? Is it any particular trend you're seeing?
Sales tax is the biggest one of those, and it is, we've seen, if I can jump back to the slide here quick. You can see other than that first month, which was sales versus February of last year, so before the pandemic started, we've seen excellent growth. You're talking 1.7 million collected versus 1.4 in a normal year, 1.5, almost 1.6 versus 1.3, and then that has carried on in the months after that as well. So that's really where we've seen the growth, and obviously the amusement tax. Still want to make sure that we see that carry through the year, based on how past sales and things like that will happen. But really, it's all sales tax.
Anybody else have any questions for Brian? Brian, you have something else that you wanted to?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch quick on another item on the agenda. There is a budget amendment, final fiscal year 2020-2021 budget amendment. So the auditors have prepared the draft management letter. We've had a couple of comments in there. They're really minor. This is more of a housekeeping item. They identify funds that went over budget. They put it in the management letter because, under certain GASB and auditing standards, they have to alert the board of that. So there was 2 this year in the draft management letter. The auditors suggested that we pass kind of a final balancing budget amendment to clear those 2 comments off the management letter. Sounded like a good idea, so staff brought it forward. There's 2, motor fuel tax fund. If you recall, when the Stearns Road payment came due, we originally had budgeted that in the capital improvement fund. Then we had some Rebuild Illinois money that we found out was eligible to use additional that we had in the MFT fund, so we used that. And then the SSA number 2, this was the final year. There was a balance of about $6,900 in there, and transferred that to the general fund for administrative expenses of the SSA number 2 over the years. We have never charged administrative expenses to that fund. We're allowed by law, I want to say 25% of the annual debt service, so that'd be about $10,000 a year. We've never taken anything. We've always eaten the cost for any bond counsel or anything like that we would have to consult. We've always just eaten that cost. So this is just essentially the final closeout of the SSA number 2 fund.
Okay. Any questions? No? Oh, thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. So there's no old business, and we'll go to new business. Approval of Ordinance 2021,
62.
amending the annual budget of the Village of Gurnee, County of Lake, State of Illinois for the fiscal year beginning May 1, 2020 and ending April 30th, 2021.
So as Brian just summarized, this is last year's budget, cleaning up 2 funds that were over budget. The MFT fund, which exceeded budget by about $347,000, due to us using funds from the MFT fund instead of the capital improvement fund for the first payment on the Stern School Bridge, our share, and the second being the SSA number 2 bonds. Again, that closed out. There was a little bit of funding left in there, so we transferred that to cover the administration fees during the time that that bond was active. So these will adjust the budget to match those two final dollar amounts.
So is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
trustee Ross, second by trustee Balmas. Any discussion? Yes, trustee Thorstensen?
Just a small point, I don't remember if it was Heather that found the Rebuild Illinois money. I thought it was. But that's just outstanding. I just think that's so innovative and great job.
Any other comments or questions? None, roll call, please.
Balmas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
5-0.
Motion carries. Item number 2, approval of ordinance 2021,
63?
approving a small business capital investment grant program.
Sure, so we discussed this at the last meeting. You've got a memo from Ellen Dean. The initial, out of the gate is going to be $250,000 has been allocated for it. Businesses can apply for up to $10,000 of matching grant funding for durable capital improvements. To qualify, the business must either remit sales, amusement, food and beverage tax to the village. 2 small changes that we've made since the last time we talked. We have in here that franchises, which is, have 20 or more locations, are not eligible. We have, staff is recommending to tweak that a franchise would be eligible if they invested to relocate and stayed within the village of Gurnee. So the one example I can give you is Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen's a franchise. They invested funds to relocate within the village. If we want to make that situation eligible, that would be under that scenario, so staff is recommending that change. And then the second change is we're hoping to have it rolled out by October 1st. That's probably going to be more mid-October at this rate, so there's still some legwork to do on the application and the frequently asked questions. We want to make that as clear as possible to avoid confusion up front. Otherwise, everything else is consistent. It'll retro back to January 1st, 2020, continue to 2024. And as applications are received, we'll have regular reporting to the village board to keep everybody up to date on where we're at as far as who applied for what, dollar amounts, et cetera.
So is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Garner. Any discussion? Trustee O'Brien?
Just a point of clarification, for professional services, does that include hair salons?
I believe that was included in there if they generate sales tax.
So
So they sell products.
it's an exclusion on here, so we should probably clarify that if they produce, if they're eligible to receive the proceeds, we should probably clarify that.
I think the whereas above that if they remit sales, food and beverage tax takes care of that. And
Supersedes it, okay, thanks.
that would be my interpretation of it.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Balmas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
5-0.
Motion carries with that clarification from trustee O'Brien. Item number 3, approval of ordinance 2021,
64?
authorizing the waiver of certain Phase 1 building permit fees for the proposed development of an advanced technology center by the College of Lake County at 7735 Route 132, Gurnee, Illinois. Ed?
Sure. Again, had a memo from Ellen on this. As you know, CLC has purchased the Lowe's building, is working to convert that to their advanced technology center. They'll have interior space to accommodate hands-on instruction related to automation, robotics, mechatronics, CNC, welding, and industrial maintenance. Phase 1 construction value is around $18.5 million, calls for the demolition of the existing garden center, utility work, and then build out of about 59,000 square feet of the building. Building permits for this first phase are estimated about $110,000. CLC did submit a request to the village to have those fees waived. We've looked at what we've done historically with other fee waivers, and we've been around the 50% mark. This project is going to involve a lot of staff time of our inspectors, already has as far as reviewing plans, being out there on site. So staff is recommending a 50% waiver of the building permit fee, connection fees, and then the pass-through fees to Lake County Public Works would be paid in full.
So is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by trustee Garner, second by trustee Thorstensen. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
5-0.
Motion carries. Item number 4, approval of request from Kensington Development Partners to pay fee in lieu in the amount of $18,000 for 45 replacement trees at 7735 Route 132, Gurnee, Illinois, the Cooper's Hawk site.
Yeah, so you had a memo from our associate planner, Clara Gable, on this. So as you drive by the Lowe's site, you can see that it's pretty dense in there. It's hard to believe that 14 years have gone by since they planted that vegetation. But obviously, line of sight and being able to see the new Cooper's Hawk building is important to them. Given the amount of growth on the site, it's hard to plant these trees elsewhere on the site, so they're looking at the removal of 45 trees instead of trying to find some place to squeeze them in, requesting to pay a fee in lieu of. We had our village arborist take a look at the trees, determine the caliper and the replacement value. That comes to about $18,000. You did have some diagrams included with your packet, so the first page shows the current landscaping with the trees X'd out. Second page shows the proposed pad with the landscaping that they're planning on doing. So a lot of real nice landscaping along the Grand Avenue frontage, just lower shrubs so you can actually see the building.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Ross, second by trustee Garner. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
5-0.
Motion carries. Item number 5, approval of police department's recommendation to retire K-9 Hunter and transfer ownership to Officer Phil Mazer.
Yeah, so this is kind of deja vu. We dealt with this within the last 2 months with our other canine. So Officer Mazer has accepted a job in Arizona, will be resigning from our department. He has been Hunter's handler since Hunter came on board about 7 years ago. Canines typically only have 8 to 9 years of life within them, so Hunter's nearing the end of his career as well. So as is typical when we get in this situation, as well as other departments, you want the dog to stay with the handler. It's been with him since day one, basically. So that's what's best for the dog. Again, the dog's to try to retrain him with a new handler. Doesn't go so smooth, and we don't have anybody in the department that's currently certified anyway. So the staff recommendation, same as we did with Bear, is to retire Hunter out and let him live out his days with Officer Mazer in sunny Arizona.
So is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Garner, second by trustee Balmas. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
5-0.
Motion carries. Item number 6, approval of issuing a Class 1 liquor license to Diane Walker for the operation of Tanyas Savvy Events and Banquet Hall, 5101 Washington Street. Pat?
Yeah, so you got a new business looking to open up at 5101 Washington Street, Savvy Events. They're looking at occupying 2 spaces for about 3,000 square feet just east of Chocolate Sanctuary. They've been holding some events over at the Hampton Inn, but have been limited to 50 people, and they're looking to expand that up to around 100. They provide all the linens, dishware, decor needed for an event. Customers bring in their food. This would be a setup where they would have a liquor serving station towards the rear of the room with a bartender handling that. Primarily weekends, booking in floor block hours ending at 1 a.m. This tenant space does have restroom facilities already, and they're working to add a sink in there for dedicated dishwashing. Ms. Walker does hold a events management and planning certification from the College of Lake County, and as I said, has been holding events like this out at the Hampton Inn with no issue. Police department did all the necessary background checks and found nothing to preclude issuing the license.
Any motion? Motion trustee Thorstensen.
Second.
Second by trustee O'Brien. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Thomas.
Aye.
Torstenson. Yes. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
5 aye.
Motion carries. Item number 7, approval of ordinance 2021,
65.
removing one Class 1 and 2 Class 7 liquor licenses by amending Section 6-56 of Article 2 of Chapter 6 of the Gurnee Municipal Code entitled Alcoholic Beverages.
So this is our annual reconciliation, just to make sure that what's issued matches what's in the municipal code. So we went through the renewal this year. We had one Class 1 that was not renewed. That was the Lake County Federation of Teachers. They were no longer interested in that. And then a couple Class 7s, one held by Royal Thai and the other one by Aha Sushi. So we've confirmed with all three of those that they are not interested in these liquor licenses anymore. So to bring what's out there and the code into conformance, we need to pull one Class 1 and 2 Class 7s.
Motion, any motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee O'Brien,
Second.
second by trustee Balmas. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Thomas.
Aye.
Torstenson.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
5 aye.
Motion carries. So now we have public comment. Anybody that would care to address the board may step up to the microphone, give your name and your address. There being none, the floor is closed. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Garner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.